Time to catch up with all of you folks. Power Hour this afternoon here on the SDH Network. John, hear you there. Once again, thanks for dropping by. And as always, thanks for your forbearance about the morning. Let's see if I can remember who was there. It was me, it was Jason, it was Nick, it was Sophia, and it was Maddie. We were all down at the National Training Center, the Arthur M. Blank U.S. National Training Center, and U.S. Soccer National Training Center, and it was a big day for them. And we'll have some content coming out on all of our various platforms. I have the write-up coming up at soccerdownhere.net. That'll be out after the Power Hour when I can piece it together and get some quotes and let you see what's going on. But big day for U.S. soccer on the whole for all 27 programs, not just what we would associate what's going on, but big day. The Home Depot. And I know that we all kind of look at things and we sit there and we go, the Home Depot, what? We're shocked. I know, but still. Big day for the Home Depot to become a part of things involving the training center down in Fayetteville. So big day for them. Expansive partnership. Once again, all 27 national soccer teams and as a supporting level partner for the Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Center. And we got to catch up with Chief Commercial Officer David Wright, Home Depot Senior VP and Chief Marketing Officer Molly Batten. We got to sign the ceremonial beam, and I think that since that's got to be covered, I think there's going to be a replica put out. But U.S. Soccer and the Home Depot, expansive partnership today. So we were down there for that as a part of the infrastructure to see how things are growing for U.S. Soccer. So, and we hadn't been down there since the groundbreaking. And I guess this is opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. But we hadn't been down there since the groundbreaking, and they have done a lot of work. 200,000 square foot facility. There's going to be 12 fields available, state-of-the-art stuff. Maddie and Sophia took the tour inside. You'll see Nick has some video that you'll see with us and with 92.9 The Game, where you just see just really how expansive this thing is. And so a lot of us down there taking advantage of the opportunity granted by U.S. Soccer. Once again, thanks to Tracy Messier and everybody down there at U.S. Soccer for letting us come and crash. 200,000 square feet. And get this, until we were there and you know, getting all of the notes that were attached, I didn't realize that we were, because everything is happening so quickly, I didn't realize that we were at 499 days. Under 500 days before the World Cup comes to this hemisphere in 2026. So 499 days. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a sprint, and they've done a lot of work. And going from where it was at the groundbreaking to where it is now, we no longer come in from the front entrance and the driveway that we came in last time. They've now cleared out a lot of space. It's a divided 2-lane road. You go in, you go park, a lot of parking, and there's a lot of stuff that's there. So kudos to U.S. Soccer and the Home Depot for being a part of everything now involving all 27 national teams with U.S. Soccer there at the Arthur M. Blank National Training Center. So that's where we were. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. So once again, set your notifications. And if you're not a part of our social media, the social meds, I think, is my GPB tag team partner Hannah Gooden says, the social meds. So be a part of all of that, whether it's letting us know on Facebook, letting us subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to the Twitch, go to the 280 character app, go to the IG. We're on Threads and we're on Blue Sky. So we're on all of that stuff. So that's where we are. But all of that info is coming up, and it's going to be coming up real soon. So once again, thanks to all of our friends down at U.S. Soccer for letting us come and hang out. You know, they let us come and hang out and watch all that stuff. So that's the big thing that we didn't have an SDH AM. So now we're here today. So it's Power Hour, whatever's on your mind, whenever you drop by. We're going to go over the news of the day and go over all of the transfer news, what to look at if you are staring at things involving a particular player with Atlanta United. We'll go to our friends at Teesside Live and get the latest piece of information that we have there. And we'll go over the article in and of itself, but the article kind of buries the lead, specifically where Emmanuel Latte-Lath is concerned. No updates on Cabral and Benfica. Definitely nothing updated out of Turkey, and we'll keep an eye on all of that. But once again, later in the week, so we are in the next week, from what Garth Lagerwey said. So doing Newcastle a solid, like our friend Ben Jacobs told us a week ago. With all of the stuff that Newcastle has going on, Miggy can have part of his medical done over there. He can come over here. When Newcastle's like, yeah, okay, we think we're okay, then Miguel Almiron makes the big presentation, and we'll let you know, obviously, when that is. And probably the notification and the video will probably come after SDH is off the air. Like I'm saying. So just what I'm saying. So that's my thought anyway. It always happens when we're off the air. But anyway, keep an eye on Miguel later in the week. We'll give you the Latte-Lath update coming up in just a little bit. We'll go over all the transfer stuff. We will go through Ropes. All right, so Ropes is in, and full disclosure, he's watching Paramount Plus, and they have the Wrexham Stevenage match on because it was a 2:45 and they're getting close to the end. So I was watching it, Ropes, and I was just trying to have something on in the room while I was getting ready for the Power Hour, and it was part of the noise in the room. It got to 3-1 Stevenage, and I'm like, I'm a jinx. I'm gonna turn it off. So apparently, things have gotten cuckoo involving Wrexham and Stevenage. So let me go and check really quickly and see where things are, because it was 3-1, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm out. So, all right. So Clayworth into the top corner, 90 plus. So it's 3-2 in the 90th minute. So there's chaos apparently. So it was 3-1. Now it's 3-2. I mean, Wrexham had most of the field tilt their way. They just hadn't been able to get a shot on target. And I imagine that if you are Stevenage, you're sitting there and you're going, you know what? We got a lead. We're going to camp out. We're going to let them do all the work. So right now it's Stevenage at 3-2 was the last thing I saw. So yes, Christopher Abel's in this afternoon. We are going to go over the guidelines and what and who is going where, because that was the other piece of news that came out this afternoon. Who is going where when it comes to competitions, and who's in Open Cup, who's in Leagues Cup, who qualifies, what leagues, what people, all those kinds of things. Morning Unk, or actually afternoon Unk. You see, old habits die hard. They really do. So we'll go over who is where and what with what MLS Soccer put out this afternoon involving the tournaments and who is where. So let's get into that this afternoon. I do want to get into what's going on with Messi and friends, because apparently it's somewhat chaotic. All right, so you've got the Triple C. You have the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza coming up very, very soon. We know who's in that, but once again, we'll go over it all. Leagues Cup, Open Cup, and the Can Champ. Now, those are the four competitions. Here is what qualifications were, and Christopher let us know, not a fan of the qualification process. All domestic teams should compete in the domestic cup competition. So here's what's going on. Yeah, Tom. They. I don't know if he was fired. I think he was reassigned. We'll get into that coming up in a bit. But yeah. So here's the layout for the MLS soccer team, the clubs, and like I said, and we'll update you on who is going where, because we do have teams making transfers and all this kind of stuff. So here's who's going where, and this is this afternoon. So you got the four tournaments that were attached. So Seattle and Messi and friends, once again, they're also playing in the Club World Cup. So here's how Everything lays out. So you have, this is in structure for this season and next, providing the guideline according to parameters for leagues, for World Cup, Club World Cup, World Cup, reevaluated for 27. So once again, Triple C, that's all CONCACAF. We know who's in. You won. You got close. You're in. So Leagues Cup, 18 clubs for Major League Soccer qualified to match the 18 Liga MX teams. So they wanted it to be 36, and you probably have what do we? Might be nine by 4. So we'll see what happens. Top 9 teams in each conference from the prior season qualify. Due to Vancouver being in the Can Champ and having to defend their title, San Diego FC goes into Leagues Cup. Open Cup from last year. Number of MLS teams participating increases from 8 to 16. In addition, 10 MLS Next Pro teams compete in the tournament. The 16 participating MLS teams are determined this way. And this is, like I said, this comes from Major League Soccer. Only U.S.-based clubs are eligible to participate in the Open Cup. Oh, yeah. MLS teams not competing in Leagues Cup or the Triple C, the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza, automatically qualify for Open Cup. For the 25 tournament, this accounts for 9 of the 16 MLS squads. The remaining teams are determined by Supporter Shield standings, excluding competing in the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza. For the 25 tournament, this accounts for 7. Can Champ, that's the 3 Canadian-based clubs they're competing. So 10 clubs get to compete in the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza in 25. That starts literally in a week. February 4th. Hang on. How many days? February 4th. February 4th. So January, today is the 28th. Tuesday. So going in the book. Yeah, week from today. So week from today is when the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza starts. LA Galaxy and Crew enter in the round of 16. 8 play in round 1. Leagues Cup. 18 MLS teams face off against the 18 Liga MX. That goes from July 29 to August 31st. That's that month that's blocked out of the year. Open Cup. 16 competing MLS teams enter the Open Cup in the round of 32. 8 of those host their opening matches. The 10 MLS Next Pro sides enter the tournament in round number 1. Like I said, we'll lay out who's where coming up in a bit, but this is the qualifying order. Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, all in the Can Champ. So, now, in the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza, here's where we are. Cincinnati, Colorado, Columbus, LAFC, Messi and Friends, RSL, Seattle, Sporting Kansas City, and Vancouver. That's the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza. Leagues Cup. Atlanta, Charlotte, Cincinnati, Colorado, Columbus, Houston, LAG, LAFC, Messi and Friends, Minnesota, Montreal, NYCFC, Red Bulls, Purple Team, Portland, RSL, San Diego, and Seattle. Open Cup. Austin, Charlotte, Chicago, Dallas, DC, Houston, Loons, Nashville, Rebs, NYCFC, Red Bulls, OCB, Philadelphia, Portland, San Jose, all caps. Next Pro, Core, Chattanooga FC, FC Cincinnati 2, Crew 2, LAFC 2, Messi and Friends, Real Monarchs, Sporting Kansas City 2, Tacoma Defiance, and Ventura County. And then in the Can Champ, it's those 3. So that's where we are. You have the breakdown of all of those. So Atlanta United is in Leagues Cup only. Charlotte, Leagues Cup, Open Cup. Fire, Open Cup. Cincinnati's in 2. Columbus is in 2. DC is in Open Cup. Messi and Friends in 2. CF Montreal's in 2. Nashville, New England in Open Cup. NYC Red Bulls Purple Team Leagues Cup Open Cup. Union Open Cup Toronto Can Champ. That's the Eastern Conference. Western Conference. Austin's in the Open Cup. Colorado's in 2. FC Dallas in the Open Cup. Dynamo Leagues Cup Open Cup. Galaxy and LAFC CONCACAF and Leagues Cup. Minnesota, Portland Leagues Cup Open Cup. RSL CONCACAF Leagues Cup. San Diego, welcome to Major League Soccer. You're in Leagues Cup. San Jose's in the Open Cup. Seattle, CONCACAF and Leagues. Sporting, CONCACAF. All Caps Open Cup. Vancouver, CONCACAF and the Can Champ. So, 10 in CONCACAF, 18 in Leagues Cup. That's where Atlanta United comes in. 16 in Open Cup. 10 MLS Pros. Carolina, Chattanooga, Crew 2, FC Cincinnati 2, Messi and Friends 2, LAFC 2, Monarchs, Sporting, Tacoma, and Ventura County, which used to be Los Dos, LA Galaxy 2. And then the 3 in the Can Champ. So that is your layout of who is where. JT Batson came out with a quote. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Where's the JT Batson quote? Let me see if it exists someplace where it's a paywall. You silly people. All right, so hang on, efforting. Thought I had it, and then it clicked away. So JT Batson from U.S. Soccer on his 280-character account. Open Cup is a crucial connection point for all levels of soccer in the United States. And this historic tournament allows us to lift up the people working in service to soccer in their communities. Pleased to continue collaborating with all U.S. soccer members to maximize the tournament's impact on soccer at all levels in this country. And then you had the formats, dates, and teams for the 110th edition of the U.S. Open Cup in its forms. So once again, things get loaded. Open Cup kicks off March 18 through 20. 32-game first round, 96-team tournament for the 110th edition. Second year running, 32 games of the first round played exclusively between amateur teams from the Open Division and professional sides. Returning amateur powers include Miami United, Foro, El Fadelito, Des Moines Menace, 64 pro clubs, 14 from League One, 10 sides from MLS Next Pro. Tournament will include the 24 teams in USL Championship. 8th lowest seeded teams in the USL Championship enter in the first round along with League One and MLS Next Pro. 16, there will be a test later on, by the way. 16 higher seeded USL Championship clubs enter in the third. 16 MLS teams enter in the round of 32. So, March 18 through 20, April 1, 2, April 15 through 16, and then you get the month and the month and the month and the well, actually, no, you don't. May 6 through 7, round of 32. Round of 16, May 20 through 21. They skip 6 weeks. July 8, 9, past Club World Cup. Late May to June. Through June, July 8, 9, and then the summer is Major League Soccer semifinal September 16, 17. Final is on October 1st, which is a lot sooner than it has been in the past. All right, so mentioned the professional teams from Major League Soccer. USL Championship, 8 teams enter in the first round, 16 enter in the third. Seeded to host, Charleston, Colorado Springs, Detroit City, Indy 11, Vegas, Lou City, New Mexico United, and Sacramento. They are seeded to host in the third round. So, League One, entering in the first round, all 14 teams. MLS Next Pro, we mentioned them. 32 teams in the amateur and the open division, they enter in round number 1, including Soda City. So, we should be catching up with them soon. Then you have some teams in Florida. I'm trying to check the names and see if there's anybody that's familiar. Miami United, Tulsa Athletic, Virginia Dream. NPSL has 7 teams based on league play in 24. Appalachian FC, Duluth FC, so our buddy John Schuster gets an Open Cup bid. Fadelito, FC Arizona, Motown, Naples, and New York Shockers. League 2, 9 teams based on 2024 league play. Asheville City, so we should be catching up with our friends up there. Ballard jumps in. Corpus Christi, Menace, Flatirons out of Colorado, Little Rock Rangers, Long Island Rough Riders, Sarasota Paradise, and Ventura County Fusion. So that is the rundown of Everything Leagues Cup. Or Everything Open Cup, sorry. So Everything Open Cup. You look at Tom's response in the comments, and he is not happy. You're not the only one, trust me. But Tom did it almost in all caps. So that is where we are. It's one of the biggest things that happened today. That came out this afternoon. 96 teams through all of the leagues: USL Championship, League One, some in League Two, some of the NPSL, Major League Soccer. They figured out how that's going to be integrated, and it's 96 teams coming forward. So that's where we are with that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to discuss involving one of those clubs that has been mentioned in multiple tournaments, and it has to do with Messi and friends. And it was how do we say this? Interesting to find out what's going on. So there's a shakeup in the front office. I don't know if you saw this. And so here's apparently what has happened. What happened was this. So, and this is from our friends at GMS. Now, shake up in the Messi and Friends front office. And we'll get into Manuel Latte Loth and everything going on in transfers down here coming up in a bit. Messi and Friends front office. Remember Raul Sanlehi and the stories that were published by our friends at Gimme Sport, where apparently, according to published reports, at one point, when Sanlehi came in to be president of football operations, he kicked Chris Henderson out of his office. It's like, ooh, I like that. Mine. So now Sanlehi has been reassigned to oversee matters pertaining to institutional relations. I have no idea what that means. But let's see if we can find out. Let's see if in a particular, if in a release, let's see if we can find out if it was in fact published. Now, all right, so I'm clicking on the thing, and I'm trying to see applications, interviews, media availability. No. Okay, so they did not have that. Inter Miami has not published an official communique on anything involving what apparently has happened within the front office. So our friends at Giving Sport, Tommy Scoops et al. I don't know. This is me still. Now, Sanlehi has been reassigned to oversee matters pertaining to institutional relations. Like I said, I don't know what that means. Here, help us, be this in the community. Institutional relations. Be this worldwide. Mr. Sanlehi, sir, we need you to go here. We need you to go. We need you to go here. We need you to go to Lexington, Kentucky, and catch up with our friends at Lexington SC since they're going to be playing us this weekend. We need you to find out what's going on there. Like I said, I don't know what this means. So, Guillermo Hoyos is now in charge of first team sporting decisions, sources tell GMS. So, Sanlehi has been reassigned to the club's office in Coral Gables and not the first team facility. An Inter Miami spokesperson provided the following statement to Gimme Sport. Quote, Raul's move was pre-planned in coordination with the closing of the window at the end of January and the many activities that the team has with the Club World Cup, and other matters pertaining to institutional relations. So I'm guessing he's pushing paper with players and tournaments? I don't know. So here's where Bogert continues. Sources say while the club were in Las Vegas For a preseason match against Club America, Sanlehi entered the players and coaches only in quotation marks, bus, which prompted an exchange of words with Lionel Messi. That really is not a sentence I would think that you would want to have attached to your name. Players and coaches, you enter the players and coaches only bus. I would hope, that you knew what your transportation plans were. And I could see it's like they all look the same. You walk up and you're just like, oh, sorry, and wrong bus, and then you go and you do your thing. You find your bus with all the other folks from the front office. So he enters the player and coaches only bus. Prompts an exchange of words with Lionel Messi. Being there at Inter Miami, one of the things I don't think you ever want to have is an exchange of words with Lionel Messi. I don't think you want that ever. I mean, literally, you go walking up the steps and you realize, oh, crap, wrong bus. No, sorry, wrong, my bad. I'm going to find my bus. They all look the same. Hoyos joined Miami as the club's academy director of methodology after Messi arrived. Hoyos first worked with Messi as a Barcelona academy coach, and they've been tied ever since. Messi said back in 2010, quote, he was my footballing dad, helped me a lot since I came to Barca. He was always with me, showing me things, and has brought me to where I am today, the first division. I'm grateful he is my footballing godfather, end quote. Remember Sanlehi joined last summer. Chris Henderson and Director of Scouting Mark Prezant among the front office staff to depart the club. Prezant, assistant GM with San Diego. Sanlehi was CEO of Real Zaragoza, best time for his known at Arsenal, as head of football and director of football at Barcelona. Jorge Mas also owns Real Zaragoza. So, one of the things I don't think you ever want, an exchange of words with Lionel Messi, because God knows what those were. God knows what those were. And that's something that you don't want. How much did Messi play in Las Vegas? Let's see if we can find out. Let's see. Let's see how much he did play. Let's see if there's anything officially official. Media assets. Did he play in Las Vegas? Okay, so hang on. Inter Miami, Club America, stats. If I could spell Inter, we'd be all right. So, Inter Miami and Club America. It was 2-2. And lineups. Messi started and played. Well, he was subbed. 65 minutes. So Messi played 65 minutes and was subbed by Yannick Bright. So played 65 minutes against Club America, and Miami had a little more than 1/3 possession in a 2-2 game. Messi scored in the 34th. Tomas Avila scored at 90+2 after America had taken a 2-1 lead. Henry Martin, Israel Reyes scored. Martin scored to make it 1-0. Messi scored an equalizer 3 minutes later. Reyes scored to make it 2-1. And then Avila scores at 90+2. Miami wins 3-2 on the penalties. So 3 shots on target each side. 10 shot attempts for Club America. Well, they had twice the possession. Shot attempts 5 for Messi and friends. 12 fouls for Messi and friends compared to 7. 1 yellow each side, like these really count. 10 corners, 6 to Club America. 1 save each side. So that's your numbers from Messi and friends and from Club America. But yeah, Messi played 65 minutes in that one before being subbed for Yannick Bright. So that's the numbers there with that. Yeah, it's apparently Christopher Abel Washington said that there were a lot of missed penalties in the shootout. So back to comments involving Open Cup and stuff. So Ropes was saying that Stevenage was Kubo Torres-like time wasting. I mean, that's some serious dark arts if Stevenage was going in that direction. So I don't know. There's a lot of the time when I watch Wrexham and I sit there and I go, fell to their first home defeat since March of 2024. Wow. Um, they flip the switch. It's like when they need to, and then then they just push and they press, and you see why they're one of the class teams in the lower divisions in England. But you have a day like today. So, Harry, no need to be confused. This is just like I said. We were at the National Training Center for the announcement for the Home Depot being the new title sponsor for the place, and so you're going to start seeing some content come out on all the social media, and interviews and things. Like I said, I'm going to write I've got the write up in the byline coming up a little later today, so that'll be up tonight. So, all right, now. Let me actually before we get into Atlanta, let me go through the Leagues Cup stuff. And I'm not going to show what Tom put on there because you can see that in the Twitch pitch. Christopher Abel is not a fan of San Diego FC getting awarded and not the next highest ranking team from last season. Not sure why we are rewarding an expansion team a spot in a larger competition when they haven't done anything yet. Eyeballs. I mean, you get this team that's got Chucky Lozano and Dreyer, and they're looking at a third DP and the possibility of whomever else they could bring in for that third DP. It's eyeballs. It's the expansion team. Hey, look, they're new. Those kinds of things. And hey, look at what San Diego's bringing to the table. It's an expansion team. It's new. Hey, what's going on in San Diego? So San Diego gets in. So there's that. Michael Head, not a fan of Leagues Cup. Make U.S. Open Cup great again. And yeah, a lot of folks I think it looks like it's 50-50 split with fandom when it comes to Leagues Cup. And Christopher's like, Leagues Cup's amazing. Don't mind downsizing it a bit. No reason to limit qualification for Open Cup, and the idea of putting second teams from next pro into the tournament's ridiculous. If the twos ever get in, I hope we loan all the DPs to the second team just for those matches. Just for those matches. We know who's in Leagues Cup. It's everybody from Liga MX. Let me see when the Leagues Cup draw is. Let me get that squared away, and we can get to those dates. Leagues Cup 2025. Do we have a draw date yet? Scanning. December 16th was the last time any piece of news came out involving Leagues Cup 2025. Schedule updates. So from the Leagues Cup website, its own self. July 29 to August 31st. Continued review of the format. Format schedule and additional information on the 2025 Leagues Cup will be announced in the new year. So let me go to the website and go to the front page and schedule updates announced. Yep. So the last thing that was posted on the Leagues Cup website mentions the start date and the stop date, but not who is playing whom and what the group draw is. We don't know that yet. So it's those 18 teams from Major League Soccer, everybody from Liga MX, 4 groups of 9, I would imagine, or to do 8 groups or something like that. Then you figure out, so it's 9 and then the top 7 beyond that, something like that. So don't know when the draw is currently for Leagues Cup. And let's see. Teams want to combine 5 for 10 in the penalties in the Club America match in Vegas with Messi and friends. So, all right. So now let's get into Emmanuel Latelath. So right now, it's still looking like, and depending on who you look at, then who's looking at what? No, T side. Well, T side live is what I'm like. T's side live. Did I spell T side? Oh, come on. T's side live. Please let me spell this thing correctly. Yes, that's what I meant. I meant T's side live. Come on. It's from the Gazette. All right. So now, T's side live, which is basically the Gazette, but it's in a different place. So Middlesbrough FC. Now, the latest news or reports from them. Now, they are still trying to figure out who they can bring in and who they can't. So Caleb, let me see if this is the right article because it was a couple of different articles. Craig Johns had an article earlier today, and he kind of buried the lead in an article. I'm trying. Oh, hang on just a second. Let me see. Yeah, I know this is fantastic live stuff. So, all right. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is it in that one or is it in the other one? So, okay. So, sorry, Craig Johns, sorry. Craig Johns from early this morning. All right. So, this has to do with Middlesbrough in and of itself. So, there's some Middlesbrough news that is going to be a part of this article. And once again, Craig Johns from T's Side Live. Now, he goes into the news involving Bournemouth keeper Mark Travers. And to Tom's point that he made involving Middlesbrough, right now Middlesbrough is in a promotion battle. And there are times when teams are trying to better themselves and try to figure out, okay, what are we doing here in the January window? And remember, January 3rd is the end of the window in England. It is a little later in other places, and there are a couple of countries where it's another week, another two, another month. Right. So right now, Middlesbrough is in the group that is fifth and below. Currently, if the season ended today with 17 matches to go, they would be in the final playoff promotion spot. They would be in the six. Leeds and Sheffield United. Sheffield United's dealing with a 2-point deduction from the Independent Disciplinary Commission. But right now, Leeds up top with 60. Sheffield United's at 58. Burnley's at 57. Leeds and Sheffield would be promoted. Burnley and Sunderland are 3 and 4. They're 57 and 55 points. They would be the two home teams in the promotion playoffs. If it ended today, West Brom would be the 5. They would go to Sunderland. Middlesbrough would go to Burnley. But right now, the way things are, 5 through 12 are separated by 6 points. And only 2 points leave Blackburn Rovers, the 7 out of getting into, with a win, they could, in theory, hopscotch Middlesbrough if results go their way. So that's the chaos. So 5 through 12 separated by 6 points. You have a good week, you can rock it up. You have a bad week, you can plummet out. So that's where things are involving Middlesbrough in the standings right now. So here's what they've done this month. Remember the discussion we had about Morgan Whitaker coming from Plymouth Argyle, the team at the bottom of the table, to help out with their scoring. Trying to figure out what to do. They have 2 keepers out long term. So they want to bring in Mark Travers from Bournemouth. That was one thing. Only 1 keeper on the squad currently that has senior minutes. It's like a senior minutes, 1 person, an academy product, and so they're looking at Mark Travers. So right now, they're also looking at Glenn Kamara as a part of possibly trying to bring in someone as they go. Working on a loan deal to sign Travers from Bournemouth. And so Travers, they're trying to figure out what to do there. Said to be desperate to get out of Bournemouth, play more football second half of the season, considering he's behind Kepa. So he's not getting any minutes. Sanctioning a loan move this month was delayed by an injury suffered a third-choice keeper, Will Dennis. Dennis has returned to full training, and so they got to come up with an answer for Travers. Continuing talks with Wren over a loan move from Glenn Kamara. Midfielder fell out of favor with Sampaoli and has been ostracized from the first-team squad. So Burrow would like to add a player of Kamara's ilk for the midfield. However, after completing a 10 million euro move in the summer, he's a high earner. Now, with Travers, they're looking at other things. Burrow remain in talks with Wren. Wren's very busy. Wren and Kamara's reps in a bid to work it out. Now, final busy week of the window, currently monitoring their center back situation. Now, and this is where we start to pay attention. Literally, this is at the bottom of the article. The bottom of the article, and I would venture to say that he buried the lead. At least where Atlanta United fans are concerned with Emmanuel Latela. Craig Johns says this. Monitoring their center back situation as one of their players wants to rejoin Derby County. Having just signed one player, they have two others at center back. And the third one is injured. They don't know when he's coming back. Promising players in the academy, and they've got three other players like Luke Ayling, who you might remember from his time at Leeds, that have played center back as well. Now, if that one player that they're looking at leaves on loan, but finances are likely to be tight, with an increasing likelihood that Emmanuel Latela will remain at the club until the end of the season. The striker was the subject of a bid from Atlanta United this month, but appears more likely to stay at Borough now unless any unexpected Premier League offer were submitted. His current injury status is unknown too, after he went off with a groin injury at Preston North End. Borough had options in mind for striker if Latela left, with Slovakian international David Strelec linked. But signing a center forward for £6 to £8 million appears unlikely this month if the Ivorian stays. Literally, the last two paragraphs, the last paragraph of this piece is what we're paying attention to here. Considering options if one player leaves, but finances are likely to be tight. With an increasing likelihood, Emmanuel Latela will remain at the club until the end of the season. This could be the second window in a row where Middlesbrough has had interest in Emmanuel Latela. Remember, in the summer, Ipswich was interested. Middlesbrough ended up going, nah, we're good. Whatever the reason. Ipswich was knocking on the door. Whether a player wasn't interested in going, Middlesbrough was holding out for more money, what have you. This time around, Atlanta interested in Emmanuel Latela. 18 plus 2 reported to be on the board. But Middlesbrough, and the more that we have seen in this situation, and I welcome your thoughts on the Twitch pitch, the more that this time around in this particular window, Middlesbrough is looking for a bidding war. And they want to drive up a price so they can jettison a player. From the Craig Johns article, the striker was subject of a bid from Atlanta United this month, but appears more likely to stay at Borough now unless any unexpected Premier League offers were submitted. My thought here is this. Somebody knocks on your door, second time in a row, second window in a row. Middlesbrough, Mr. Middlesbrough, whether it's Ipswich or Atlanta United, Mr. Middlesbrough, we're interested in a player. Okay, cool. What are you thinking? Atlanta United this time around says, well, how about 18 plus 2? Okay, sounds great. We'll get back to you. And all the while, you are in a position, meaning you, meaning Middlesbrough. Hey, Atlanta United is interested. 18 plus 2. Hey, anybody. And you hear a dial tone at the other end of the, you hear dial tone at the other end of the line. Nothing's happening. It's just no other phone calls. Nothing is happening in Middlesbrough's sense about what to do involving Emmanuel Latte-Lath. They're looking for Premier League interest. None is coming. But Middlesbrough seems to have overplayed their hand about wanting to try and have Emmanuel Latte-Lath bring in a financial windfall, relatively speaking. One other thing to look at in all of this. If you go to Transfermarkt and you look up Emmanuel Latte-Lath in his profile, and this is a conversation. Next time that Nick Leafy comes on the show, I want to have him walk you through this particular element of the conversation because it does apply to Italian football. Latte-Lath's agent and his agency, there's one player in their entire stable, and especially in their top 15 or top 20 valued players at Transfermarkt, that plays outside the country of Italy. I'll give you one guess who that is. If you go and you were to look at the agency's social media, rarely, if at all, I mean, you'd probably have to go back. Pictures in England supporting your player. I haven't seen any. I might be looking in the wrong place. So Middlesbrough, for the second weekend in a row, or for the second window in a row, sorry, has had Emmanuel Latte-Lath out on the market. They go to Ipswich, and Ipswich is interested, and they're like, nah. My thought in all of this is Middlesbrough is overplaying their hand. They're not the best poker players in the world. They're kind of like me playing poker. I'm not very good. It's not like rounders. It's not like the planet is sitting there and going, chick, 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 chick. He beats me. Pay that man his money. No, that's not where we are here. That's not the case. It is a very, very poorly played hand of poker for the second window in a row by Middlesbrough with one of their star players. Like, seriously, you had a Premier League team come, and it was a bottom of the Premier League team, bottom half, team fighting for survival. Summer window, they come knocking on your door for one of your star players. Nah, okay, well, we'll think about it. Window goes, nothing happens. Second window in a row, it looks like nothing is going to happen. And then you add the injury on that. On top of that, a groin injury, which we do not know the severity of, that happened in the 11th minute last time out against Preston North End. So that's where things stand with Middlesbrough 1. And this is the other element in this with Middlesbrough. People talk. They talk. Don't think for a second that Kieran McKenna and everybody at Ipswich Town was raising the people's eyebrow at Middlesbrough after what happened in the summer window. They're like, man, what's up with you? Don't think that Kieran McKenna ain't talking to folks. And don't think also now with what's going on with Atlanta United, and obviously if there is still interest, then you don't know what the negotiations are going to be like in this final week. You don't know the severity of the injury. Do you just get to the point to where you're sitting there and you're just tired of it? And don't think for a second that Chris Henderson ain't talking to folks. For all intents and purposes, Michael Miggy is yes. It has been here we go. The numbers have been put out there. You look at all of the big name sources, the big name writers and folks. 4.5 years, and it's most and part of the physical is going to be done overseas. Atlanta right now is doing Newcastle. It's not like Atlanta United making the announcement final. It's not that. It is every high followed individual that reports on the sport on both sides of the Atlantic has it at here we go, 4.5 years, and Miggy's coming. Newcastle fans said their goodbyes this past weekend. So it's been here we go. Sandro Tonali said some great things about him in the press conference opportunity this past weekend. So short of the video montage, welcome back from Atlanta United's social media team and their wizards of video. That's the only thing that hasn't happened. Everybody's like, yeah, it's done. Part of the physical is going to be done in England. It's done. So we'll see. But that's the only thing that's missing. Official word from the club, and you can't do that, I don't think, until the 31st. You can make the announcement, but you can't have him on campus or something like that. So you've seen all these announcements, and I don't think that things can be officially official till the 31st when the window opens. So that's where I think we are with the machinations involving Miggy. But it has been here we go. We have heard $4.5 million. Transfer fee agreed to at 10 plus 2, and that's where we are. But when it comes to Middlesbrough and Major League Soccer, if Middlesbrough now is having discussions, if Chris Henderson picks up the phone, Middlesbrough, hello, Middlesbrough, and you're having these kinds of conversations where you want to sit there and have conversations. You want to have conversations. But from all intents and purposes, from the more that we're gathering in this relationship, Middlesbrough's hoping for a Premier League swoop in at the end where they can sit there and go, well, you know what? A Premier League side wants to pay 20 or whatever, 20 plus 2 or just a little more. They're trying to create a bidding war, it looks like, for the second window in a row. Don't think for a second that Chris Henderson ain't talking. Don't think for a second that Chris Henderson ain't going to be talking to folks. Yeah, man, Middlesbrough, they're weird. They're weird when they're dealing with stuff. So, I don't know if anybody should deal with them. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm having conversations, primary transfer window, Tom, is Friday, January 31st. So, guessing that, you can have players come and hang out. Maybe you can, you make an announcement, but it can't be official. They can't be training with the club until the 31st of the 1st. So if I'm kind of blending my things here, I don't know if you can train with the team. Somebody told Tom last week players can actually train and so forth before the window, just can't play in games. I don't know if you can train with the club. Maybe you can be on campus and be off to the corner someplace and do toe touchies or something, but I don't think you can do anything organized until 31st, and then you can join the club and be active and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they can be, I think they can be on campus and they can be off to the side, or they can be at the back, or they can be behind a curtain. What's behind the curtain? Oh, I don't know. But I think they can be on campus and not be a part of team activities. You can announce them. They're off in the corner, and then on the 31st, hey, look, first day of practice. One of those kind of things. I'm trying to think of how it was in the past. But yeah, don't think that folks aren't talking. And now what you're doing, if you're Middlesbrough, you're having word spread negatively about your front office on both sides of the Atlantic. Then who Chris Henderson has talked to in the past? He's got folks. He picks up the phone. I'm sure he talks to folks around the world. Yeah, man, dealing with Middlesbrough. Well, should we chase after it? Should we chase after this player? I don't know, man. Don't think Kieran McKenna ain't talking. Don't think Chris Henderson ain't talking. So, so that's where things stand. But also at the same time, don't just think of this as a one-lane road. This isn't just Atlanta United putting everything and putting on the blinders and sitting there and looking straight into the camera and going, all right, we're just going to chase after Emmanuel Latte-Lot. I mean, no, it's not quite like that. It's Latte-Lot's in one lane, maybe Cabral's in another lane, Piontek, and just as to give you, I've heard nothing ever since that first acknowledgement from Turkey week and a half ago. Haven't heard anything about Christoph Piontek since then, but I'm just saying, Cabral, Latte-Lot, Piontek as examples. Like I said, nothing further on Piontek, but just they're not locked into one person and they're not locked into one quest. We don't know what we don't know. We know about Cabral from a couple days ago. We know about Latte-Lot with the continued discussions from T-Side Live, Gazette, etc. So just don't sit there and think that this is the only pursuit that is going on. If this finally does fall through, then all of these other conversations that they're having, especially the ones that we don't know about, they're going to have to escalate a little bit. Because once again, you have until February 3rd. You've got a week. You got a week to figure it out with the European market, unless it's in a market that we hadn't thought of and it's a little further down the road. So that's the update with Latte-Lot. A lot of folks, I'm sure, wish they could sit there and say, I wish the news was further along. But I think the news is further along from the article, but it was buried at the bottom. What I think is Middlesbrough is looking for a Premier League dance partner. They're looking to drive the price up. And then I think that they're looking for the opportunity to have Latte-Lot move on. But I think that they might have overplayed their hand in going, okay, well, Premier League clubs, come on in. And, no one's picking up the phone. And so if no Premier League club, and why? Once again, this is something I don't know. And the fact that you would be married to the idea of a Premier League club because it's the richest league in the world short of the Saudi league when it comes to TV contracts and such. Hey, you want to be solid domestically. Major League Soccer's been spending a lot of money in this window. And you know what? If you're a player, the check's clear. Major League Soccer is coming to the table in a bunch of different places and a bunch of different markets, sitting there saying, you know what? We're ready to dance. We've been ready to dance. We're ready to dance now as well. But my thought is Middlesbrough's looking for a Premier League dance partner for whatever reason. We want to do good by our domestic leagues. We want to have relationships set up for later when we get to the Premier League. I don't know. But that is your Latte-Lot. latest reports from Teesside Live and the Gazette from Craig Johns. So if you wish to do so, follow gazettelive.co.uk and go into the Middlesbrough section. But I am of the thought pattern that Middlesbrough, for the second window in a row, has overplayed their hand. And they're going to end up keeping Emmanuel Latela because they didn't get a Premier League paycheck for whatever reason. And there have been reports out that Latela doesn't want to go to Major League Soccer just as much as there have been reports that Middlesbrough ain't dealing with Major League Soccer. So where the angle is, we don't know. Where the actual element of the discussion is, we don't know, because we're hearing both sides. But from what we're reading, with Teesside Live, my thought is Middlesbrough's overplayed their hand for the second window in a row. They're going to end up keeping Latela. He's injured. You don't know the groin damage from exiting in the 11th minute. A lot of stuff in play. Does Atlanta United want to dance that dance for the next week while it appears what's going on? So, Cabral, Benfica, everybody seems to be chasing after him. And I mean, like multiple leagues across the board. Initially, it was 20. We'll catch up with our buddy Nino Torres from Goal TV on Thursday when we go fully loaded. We'll find out about Cabral as a player. I want to ask Nino about Cabral as a player and Atlanta United and all those kinds of things and what he's been able to do at Benfica. So we'll get into Cabral Thursday if there are no updates, or even if there are updates going from now until Thursday. Thursday, 10 o'clock, part of our half hour with Nino Torres from Goal TV will be to ask about Cabral from Benfica. But once again, week left in the window. You have until the 3rd. When Big Ben chimes, it's over if you want to deal with England and most of Europe, if not an hour or two before. So we'll keep an eye on all of that. And, yeah, so that's where we are with Emmanuel Latela. All right. Getting into gossip, rumor, innuendo, anything else that's left on the table. Like I said, this is a power hour, and I figured I was going to go a little long. But, I mean, that's kind of where we are. Back at it again, 9:05 tomorrow morning, by the way. We will discuss everything. Tyler Pilgrim going to join us at 9:15. Don't know if you got to see Tyler's picture that he took on his 280-character app. They gave us the chance to sign that beam, to be a part of the National Training Center. We all did. I mean, shoot. The chance to sign a beam that's going to be a part of a facility that's going to be a part of the national soccer program. Yeah, if I thought about it for a second, I'm like, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. And so, yeah, there's the Tyler's in there. Maddie signed it. Okay, so I can still get players from Europe. They just can't replace them. Okay. All right, so here is gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Here's what we know, kind of, sort of, maybe, and figure out where we are. Then we'll look and we will check in with other folks and see what they're looking to process since all of this stuff happened this morning. Roma want to sign Casemiro on loan till the end of the year. Move dependent upon the sale of Paredes. 4-letter paper. Take the information at your own peril. Napoli and Juve monitoring Højlund. Højlund has yet to impress Ruben Amorim. Al Hilal have now turned into the favorite to sign Mo Salah after canceling the contract of Neymar. Wolves expecting an offer for Mateus Cunha. And for the deadline, Villa, Arsenal, Forest. Forest, to me, keep an eye on their finances. Keep an eye on FFP and all of that with them. Just curious. James McAtee at Manchester City, no longer a target for Leverkusen. Set to sign Buendia from Aston Villa. Face a race to sign Cambiasso as Juve will only make a final decision on Italy's fullback's future after the Wednesday Champions League match against Benfica. Manchester United close to signing Dorgu. I think the number is going to be more than 30 million pounds. Liverpool recalling Stefan Bajcetic from his loan at Red Bull Salzburg, then send him to Las Palmas for the rest of the year. Brighton open to selling Evan Ferguson before the transfer window closes. Leverkusen are in talks. Leverkusen striker Victor Boniface, and I probably butchered that, excused from training amid a potential move to Al Nassr. Wolves are in talks with Ajax about terminating the loan of Carlos Forbes. Sheffield Wednesday have made a loan offer for Ipswich defender Harry Clark. Udinese interested in signing Southampton keeper Gavin Bazunu on loan. Marcus Rashford has hired the brother of Danny Welbeck as his new agent to help him find a move away from Old Trafford. That's from the other four-letter paper. Rashford's only option right now to leave would be a loan move to Juve, and Matisse Tell wants to leave the club, wants to leave Bayern Munich this month. Chelsea are among several clubs that are interested. Now, looking through what we're seeing from our friend Ben Jacobs, Fabrizio Romano, all the heavy hitters. Now, let's get into that. So, Atlanta United now, according to Tom Bogert, submitted a bid around 18 to Benfica for Cabral. What did we say about the whole idea of Middlesbrough overplaying their hand? Cabral has 17-4 in just over 2,700 minutes from Benfica. Bogert claims the Emmanuel Latelat deal isn't dead, but once again, we don't know what we don't know about these other lanes of traffic, but we did know about Cabral from a couple days ago. So now, $18 million looks like it's on the table to Benfica for Cabral. Cabral is going to be an interesting back and forth. Where does the player want to go? Wolves have personal terms in place with Kevin Danso, have to agree to a fee with Lens, about 30 million euro. Villa I've also looked at Danso, could be an option if they don't get Disasi over the line. David Washington, set to join Santos on a season-long loan, deal being finalized. Matisse Tell just decided to leave Bayern in January. Bayern and the player are going to assess all the options on the market. That's from Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea asked for Tell at the beginning of January. More clubs also keen. The race is open. We mentioned Boniface, and it's his Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports Germany that has been the one talking about Vitor Boniface joining Al Nassr. Club-to-club agreement in place, as revealed, a package around 60 million euro. Always keen on the move. Big signing for Al Nassr. The league is intent on landing peak age players, and so Boniface is there. Dorgu set to sign with United. Looks like north of 35 million euro. We mentioned Bournemouth and the loan to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough gets to pay most of Mark Travers' wage, set to go on straight loan. Independent Regulatory Commission upheld Arsenal's claim of wrongful dismissal. Miles Lewis-Skelly's 3-match ban has been removed. That cheer you heard a couple hours ago was from Bart Keeler. Upheld a claim of wrongful dismissal, sent off for serious foul play. So that is out there. Hibs has signed a midfielder for a 3.5-year deal from Odense Boldklub. Chris Wilder has signed a new deal to continue to stay at Sheffield United through the summer of 2028. So that's out there now as well. And really quickly, Tejon Buchanan, got that. Villarreal has secured a loan deal for Tejon Buchanan. That is out there now as well. So keep an eye on how everything is going involving folks and hours and teams and players. And we'll keep an eye on all of that. All right. That'll do for a power hour. Let's see. So remember, big stuff. And D. Graham lets us know he got a red in Benfica's last Champions League match. He won't be playing tomorrow. Keep an eye on that. We get Champions League tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Tyler's going to join us at 9:15. We'll see if we can catch up with the busiest man in the Northeast, Dylan Butler, and excuse me, and find out about the latest going on with him and all of the stuff. It's the official term. So as always, thanks for dropping by on a power hour, which turned into an hour 10 because there's plenty to talk about on a day like today. Thanks to U.S. Soccer for letting us come and crash. Thanks to you guys for hanging out with us as you always do, especially in the PM. I mean, this is drive time, folks. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with me. Back at it again, 9:05 Eastern time tomorrow morning, and we'll discuss more stuff. Remember, Gazette Tees Side Live, gazettelive.co.uk for everything Middlesbrough. Keep an eye on Cabral and Benfica. All the points. We got a week to go in the window. So everybody, enjoy. Back at it again. Mucha plati. I'll play it safe. It's the end of the show. That means I get to do this. Let's see if I hit the right button.